Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Melissa if you're new here. Today's video should be a fun one. It was actually a requested video by a few of you guys and I saw this video floating around. Basically it's curating the perfect collection. So these are like, if I could choose any plants out of all my entire plants that I have here, what would they be? And I think it's a really fun video topic because watching these videos, you get to see somebody talk about their absolute favorite plants. And it can also give you some ideas or maybe future wish list plants. If others like them and they're the same plants on everybody's list, then it must be a good plant, right? So I'm excited to share with you my 10 plants, 10, I'm only doing 10, that I would keep if I could only keep 10 plants. And the issue that I have with this is I love all plants, not just the rarest, most beautiful, variegated, expensive plant. I love just a normal, boring cactus. Or your most basic common plant. And that's why I have accumulated probably over 300 plants in my collection at this point. I have a lot of plants and it's really extremely hard to pick only 10. Like if my collection disappeared tomorrow, what 10 plants would I absolutely miss if they weren't here with me? I really hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I am moving around to the plants in their current spot to chat about them, so I will be moving throughout the video. Thank you so much for watching and for being here, and let's get to it. I am starting off today with this beauty right here. She is a timeless classic, one of my OG plants. I've had this plant for probably 4 years now, and she grew back from basically a pile of dirt. This is none other than a makoyana. I think the reclassification is Goeppertia. It was Calathea makoyana. It's also known as a peacock plant. And I love this plant so much. She is a big plant, like I said. I've had her for a long time, and she currently lives here in the dining area off from the kitchen, which gets east light, so she sits right next to a window and she gets some of that morning sun. I had her in my plant room for a good while and she did really enjoy being in my plant room, but unfortunately she is just a big plant and I needed more space in there, and I brought her out here and she really seemed to not mind the difference at all. I really don't do anything special to care for this beauty. I water with my nutrient regimen once a week pretty much, and she's in an old mix that I haven't repotted her in probably 2 years. She could use an upsize because there's a lot of like dead debris and stuff in here that I need to clean up, but she's not potted into this container. She's in an 8-inch pot. But she could use a repot. I love the back side of the leaves too. They're like a burgundy red color, and they do puree at night, so at nighttime their leaves fold up, so she gets in a really tall position, which I love too. These plants are very common here. You can find them pretty easily. I come across them all the time at my local shops and big box stores, so if you ever come across one, give her a go. I find these plants to be, for me, pretty easygoing. They're not too sensitive. I feel like they're a little bit easier than some calatheas. So if you do love this plant, I say give her a go and see how she does in your environment. But I love her and I would miss her so much if she was missing. Back behind me is my Anthurium shelf. I have a dedicated area for Anthuriums because they are the plant genus that I would say I have been most obsessed with lately. But I'm only going to share one Anthurium plant with you today. If I could only pick 10, it's so hard to choose because I do love a lot, and because they are my most obsessed plant genus right now, I have gotten a lot of varieties and hybrids that I love and I can't wait to see grow out. But which one out of here, if I could only pick one, it would be this Anthurium here. I actually have two, and this is Anthurium pallidiflorum. It is a pendant Anthurium, one that trails, and it is a gorgeous Anthurium. I have one here that is a little bit more narrow, very long nonetheless, and I have one here that is a little bit more strappy, I guess is the word. And this one is definitely more mature. I have several inflows that I am trying to pollinate, self-pollinate. Plant care wise, now my experience with this Anthurium, it is more on the thirsty side. This one definitely needs an upsize. She is so root bound and she is a water hog. I am watering her probably every 5 days right now. Her leaves will curl in. That's my cue that she's thirsty. This one isn't as root bound, but she's still a pretty thirsty Anthurium. I love them both. And I love that I have one that's a little bit more narrow compared to one that is a little bit more strappy, I guess. She is very heavy. Let me put her down for a second. Here is another view because they are very long. Just a classic timeless Anthurium. I love trailing plants and these are a staple. I feel like any Anthurium lover should have a pallidiflorum in their collection. Such long strappy leaves. They are gorgeous. And I love that center vein, just such an all-around beautiful Anthurium. They do crawl down from the nursery pot. So as you can see here, it is planted and then it is growing down. So I will say that is something to keep in mind. They could break very easily. Just something to be mindful of. This one here is growing down out of the pot as well. Here is the root system on this one. As you can see, she's very rooted and I need to upsize her pretty soon. I'm down to 1 inflow left. I did have 3, so I did try and pollinate this, crossing my fingers she doesn't board it. And this is where they hang out. The larger one is over here on this side, closer to the window. It does get some east morning light, and I do have a lamp here with some grow lights. So it does get more light than the other one, but I would say it doesn't get a ton of light. All of my Anthuriums here live in ambient conditions. And then the more narrow one is over here on this end. It does get a little bit of light from this grow light and this lamp head. But yeah, she definitely gets lower light than the other one. Really, really difficult to pick an Anthurium favorite for sure. But out of all of my Anthuriums, if pallidiflorum disappeared, I would be upset and I would want that Anthurium. So that tells me that she is a favorite and I highly recommend. If you are new to Anthuriums or you're not sure which one to get, I highly recommend pallidiflorum. Okay, this is extremely heavy. I didn't realize how heavy this was. So in here are 4 different varieties of Maranta. They are part of the Marantaceae family, so Calathea, Tenanthes. I love them all, but out of all the varieties that I have, the one that is my favorite is this one right here. This is Maranta light veins. And the reason why that one is my favorite is because the coloring and the veining is so unique. It is so vibrant, so different from the other Marantas. I did this basket earlier this year, like I said, so some of these were kind of rehabbing. I actually had her really full at one point, but she ended up with a mealy outbreak, and so I had to restart some cuttings. And I planted them in this box together and I cannot wait until she gets more full. I love the coloring so much on this one. If any of my Marantas disappeared, I would be sad, but if I had to choose a favorite, it's definitely this one. So unique and timeless, and I love her so much. So I am taking light veins with me if I could only pick 10. Do you know how hard it was to pick a favorite Hoya? Extremely difficult. If I had to give it to any of them though, I'm giving it to Linearis. Hoya Linearis is definitely in my top 5 for sure, but if any of my Hoyas disappeared, I would be really sad to lose Linearis, so I'm gonna give it to her for this video. This one here, I actually have another one that is not featuring in today's video. I'm only going to show these. My other one I propagate from often. This one here is my OG Linearis. She's pretty long. She has not bloomed. I am so eager to get Linearis blooms. I think out of all my Hoyas, I want blooms on Linearis the most. They're just so pretty and I really want the blooms. So I'm hoping my OG one blooms for me this year. She did have peduncles earlier, but they didn't do anything. So fingers crossed that I get blooms soon. And this one over here is very long and luscious. They're both very, very long. I can't take credit for growing this one because this one I bought pretty full. I do propagate from this one often as well. But my OG one started as a single cutting and I've added so many props in here. Some props rotted. I would like to fill my OG one out some more and take some cuttings and add back in. I do have them on top of my Rudsta cabinet, one on each side, and they trail down. I do have a tiny 10-watt grow light, so they do get some of that light, but again, not like a ton of light. And they are a bit more of a thirstier Hoya for me, especially this one because it is more rooted. And this one is in a pretty chunky mix, so it dries out often. So they do get a little bit more limp looking. Like right now they look pretty, the leaves look pretty far out. They do go more straight if either their root system isn't healthy or they are thirsty, but they should move out further when they're hydrated like this. She has like a few like really long strands. I am stepping on her. Definitely one of the prettiest Hoyas I think I've ever seen, and I would need this Hoya in my collection for sure. If you love Hoyas and you don't have a Linearis in your collection, please get one. Please get one. You will not be disappointed because they're so pretty. I love just like the feel of them too. They have little hairs on the tips. I love like the way the new leaves come in too. They have tiny little hairs. But seriously, it's such a stunning, stunning plant. I love a good old pothos plant like Marble Queen, Cebu Blue, Mandula, you name it. I love them all and I have so many varieties. But if I had to choose a favorite, it's going to be Cebu Blue. And the reason why this one is my favorite because I love the color and I love this plant climbing and trailing. I love them both. So this one was on a sphagnum moss pole. I took it off and now I just have a garden stake in the middle. But the fenestrated leaves that you get when it climbs are so, so beautiful. Here's a bigger one here. Like, look at that fenestrated leaf. It's so pretty. And the silvery blue, minty green, you name it, just that color is chef's kiss for me. Since I took it off the moss pole, it's actually been putting out still some pretty big leaves. The newest one is here. It has a little fenny. So I'm still getting fenestrations even though it's not on a moss pole anymore. I'm still allowing it to climb, and as long as I can get those pretty leaves like this, like I'm totally fine with not having ginormous leaves anymore. But I love this plant so, so, so much, and if this one was out of my collection, I would miss her 100%. What's funny is I sold my original trailing basket because I didn't think I would need it because I had this one, and I missed it, you guys. I missed it. I got lucky and found one at a local big box store. And so now I have my trailing plant back, and this plant is so pretty trailing as well. And I wanted to have both. I wanted to have a climbing one with fenestrations, and I wanted to have a trailing one. So I get the best of both worlds with this plant. You can't beat it. It's such an easygoing Epipremnum. I will say this is another thirsty one as well. When the leaves start to curl, I know she's wanting water. The trailing basket as well. I do have it potted into a very chunky mix, so it does dry pretty quickly. But she is timeless, classic. I love her. Definitely a must-have in my collection. Now my plant room houses a lot of my big plants. Monsteras, Philodendron, Alocasia, and some various odds and ends, but I would say it's mostly those. Out of all the Philodendron, it was so hard to pick one, so hard to pick one. And this Philodendron is a newer-ish Philodendron I got last year. Yes, I got last year, and it has grown a lot in that time, and the leaves have matured some, and I have fallen in love with this Philodendron. So out of all of them that I have, I think this one is my favorite because if it disappeared, I would want it for sure. It is none other than Philodendron Caramel Marble. Now, I have to be careful because she has an ant infestation. Oh shit, oh no, they're crawling. Oh no, the ants are still inside. No. Okay, I might have to repot her. Darn. I swear, if an ant crawls on me, I might drop this thing. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put her on the floor and show you, because I seriously, if an ant flies on me, I'm going to scream. I'm not even gonna talk about the ant situation. If you know, you know, if you've been through the ant situation with me. I love this philodendron for multiple reasons, the main one being the beautiful variegation, but I also just in general love the leaf shape. I just think the curved edges are so unique, and of course, the variegation is stunning. I love all the tones too. I love the bright, like creamy tones. It can also turn very pink. Some of these leaves get like a pink hue, which is very, very beautiful. This leaf is very beautiful, stunning, as well as this one here. So the newest leaf is, it looks like this one that just spit out, and I can tell that color is going to be beautiful. Philodendron caramel marble, the variegation comes in more orangey, and it takes several weeks to fully burn in. Even leaves that have kind of burned in more, they turn into this yellow color. And then after several more weeks, I feel like it'll eventually turn into a creamy color. I think that's so unique how the variegation, how it does that, how it just takes forever to burn in. I love the variegation on the petioles as well. I feel like mine has a nice mix of variegation. I was a little worried because she did spit some all green leaves, and there's one over here that had a little bit of variegation. But her last set of several leaves do have some good color. I do think she has a good balance overall, and I can't wait to see her grow more. She did start out as a tiny, tiny plant, and I'm assuming it's a tissue culture, and I'm very happy, extremely happy with mine. I do have a little stake in the middle for support. It is very warm in this room, so the plants in here are exposed to more extreme warmer temps, like near 80, sometimes 81, tinkering on 82. So things tend to dry fairly quickly in here, so I feel like I'm constantly watering. But I probably would water her right now about once a week and feed her. Hopefully they could become more affordable. I feel like they are coming down in price, but if you love like the look of caramel marble, I don't think you will be disappointed. It's been a fairly easy philodendron for me. And the color, of course, is gorgeous. It's definitely a favorite philodendron right now, for sure. I think I will save the best for last, but I had to include a begonia in my top 10, and she is my favorite that I have in my collection right now. I got into begonias more this year, and I got this one actually, yeah, did I get this one earlier this year or last year? I actually don't remember. I recently propped her. I have propped her twice now, so she's not as full as she once was. But this is Begonia snow-capped variegated, and she has the prettiest leaves. Prettiest tones of pink, green, even Chai agrees. It's such a stunning begonia. And where I cut, let's see, I do have some new growth. I had cut on the end of a few of these vines. You can see some little leaves coming in there. There's one here. I am going to grow out a second plant of her because I love her that much, and I think everyone needs this begonia in their collection. I recently upsized her as well because she was drying out very quickly, and I love her pink little pot. She's such a pretty begonia. Now mine does live in ambient conditions, and if you are afraid of begonia, I'm afraid of begonia. I don't consider myself very knowledgeable with begonias, especially terrarium begonias. I have a few terrarium begonias and they make me anxious. But if you're looking for a beautiful begonia that doesn't mind ambient conditions, this one here does not mind at all. So I have heard that these prefer a little bit more humidity, like closer to 60%. But I would say that's not really true because mine lives in like 40% humidity. It is 46 right now in here. I've seen it as low as 30s in my plant room, and some days it can get like closer to 60 in here, but average is like, I would say tinkering around 50. But I have not noticed any decline in this plant because of humidity. Occasionally I will get crispy leaves, but I honestly don't see a lot of crisping on her at all. So yeah, this one definitely does well in ambient conditions. and she's very forgiving, very easygoing. Just make sure you keep her watered and she will reward you with beautiful growth. I love the ones that have like the dark green and the pink. And I love the ones that are like more pink as well. Like this one, look at this leaf. Look how pretty that one is. So yeah, she is a fave for sure. Up next, this is number 8, I believe. I had to include a Pinguicula, or a carnivorous plant, because I fell in love with them. I fell in love with these towards the end of last year, and they bloomed for me for the first time like a month ago. And I don't have a particular favorite variety because they're still pretty new to me. These are all the pinks that I have in my collection. But I will say I like the ones that have pink. This one might be Johanna, I don't remember, but the blooms are so cute and purple and dainty. That one's blooming, and this guy over here is blooming. But because I fell in love with pinks this year, I would be really sad if I didn't have these in my collection. And bonus, they eat fungus gnats. Look at all the gnats on that one. It's so gross. And I have mine sitting on some pumice stone in a layer of pond, and I just keep the rocks moist, and I have it sitting in my window so it gets some pretty good light. And other than that, they just are happy as can be. I don't use any fertilizer on them. I really do think these are so cool. They were a little intimidating at first, I'm not gonna lie, because again, I'm afraid to unalive them because I'm so used to caring for like Monstera and Philodendron, Alocasia, stuff like that. So to have a pink, it was a little anxious, but honestly, they're so easy. And they reward you with beautiful blooms, beautiful foliage, and they eat fungus gnats. So I had to include this. I would be extremely sad if I didn't have a pink in my collection. They're so cute, right? I love them. Next up on my list is Alocasia, and it's so hard. So I am a Alocasia hoarder. I am a variegated Alocasia hoarder. I love them all, and that's the problem because they tend to be finicky a little bit. Variegation is very hit or miss sometimes. They can go full albo or completely revert. They can just up and die one day, and they go through bloom cycles. I do really love them, and I probably have close to 30 Alocasia. I did downsize, I think, a couple, but I have a lot of Alocasia, and out of all the varieties, it's really hard to pick a favorite. But I'm gonna go with this one because Pink Black Velvet is stunning. This is actually a baby. My mama plant is going through a bit of a rough patch. It's actually going full albo, all pink leaves, which is not good. I recently took it out of pond and put it into a soil mix, and hopefully it pushes some green, or I'm gonna have to chop it back and reroot it or let it reshoot. I'm gonna show you her instead because she's more pretty right now. Look at that. I love the tones. Pink on plants, I think, is so pretty. I love pink plants. I will say these Alocasias in general, jewel Alocasias, I do tend to struggle with a little bit more than some other Alocasias, but I love them, so they can be a challenge. And sometimes it's just worth starting over with the plant, like take a corm from it and start over if the mother plant is giving you issues. But I just love this one so much. I love the pink. But yeah, she is a stunner. Such a beautiful, beautiful Alocasia. Last but not least is Monstera, of course, saving the best for last. This is Monstera Jungle Mint. I did feature this plant recently on my channel. Out of all the Monsteras I have, I feel like this one gives me the best of both worlds because I get the green from regular deliciosa, but I also get the variegation and the mint tones. I love all my variegated Monstera, and I just love Monstera. It's my favorite genus. But the mint, the jungle mint, definitely has my heart. She did give me a new leaf. It doesn't look to be super variegated, which is kind of sad, but that's okay. Still beautiful nonetheless. She is at the top of her little pole, so I'll have to figure out if I want to extend, let her grow a bit more, or do I want to do a little choppity chop? I'm not sure. This one lives in pond. Actually, a lot of my Monstera live in pond, semi-hydro. If I could only choose 10 plants, I would definitely be grabbing, I feel like, more Monstera and Alocasia and Anthurium, but I wanted a good variety. Like if I had to have 10 plants in my collection and I could only have the 10, I wanted the good mix. That way I could have a little bit of everything and be somewhat satisfied. But there's definitely more on my list for sure. But yeah, I love jungle mint. No words to describe how beautiful she is. I had a lot of fun filming this. Thank you guys for the suggestion and for wanting to see this video from me, because it's fun, like I said earlier, seeing what everyone's favorites are and to curate like your own little collection of your favorite plants. There's just so many beautiful plants, and I'm happy with the ones that I chose today. It's a nice variety, a nice little collection. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you again soon.